The train headed for Sunset City will be departing soon.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sunset City. I know that we had some technical difficulties last week, but that's why we're here in the middle of the week this time. First off, though, we do have our actual, finally now, resident Channel Pup.
Hey, I can't be a resident for long though.
No, you can't, but, legal things aside, we'll defend you from
I've
ICE,
already
don't worry.
done the customs detention thing. I don't want to do it again.
You know what? It's just going to be a rite of passage. It's just going to be the tutorial level for America every time you get here.
I suppose I don't have to be scared of it if I know that I can actually make it through.
And also, surprisingly, we have Nick here as well, who I don't know how much he's going to be able to talk today, but he's here.
I've been reserving some energy. I think I'll be okay today.
Propped him up on sticks. He's in
We
scarecrow
got
mode.
Scarecrow.
Yes.
Scarecrow Nick.
I mean, it's kind of amazing. I've been surviving just on real fruit popsicles and Jello has what I've been sustaining myself this last week.
Oh, were those popsicles okay in the end?
They're pretty damn good. I really appreciate those. Thank you.
Oh,
They're
I'm glad.
really, really good.
I'm sorry I couldn't get the thing you wanted. They didn't have
You
it.
know what though? I was given Pedialyte, like actual regular Pedialyte, and I'm glad you didn't, because even though my taste isn't here right now, I can taste how fucking terrible that stuff is.
Oh, I'm
Jesus.
glad it worked out then.
Yeah. No, Pedialyte's garbage, so don't even worry about getting the pops of that stuff.
And then finally, we have Wayne as boss, who I don't know how he's actually here as well. Dude's a workaholic, and not for Sunset, but also for Sunset. Hi.
Yeah, boy.
Y'all know Digimon? I can tell you a thing or two about Digimon.
Do you know Digimon?
I know Digimon.
You know Digimon?
Did you know?
Did
Digimon?
you know? Digimon?
Did you know, Mon?
You know, by the time it gets to game 3, he's just gonna be just this disjointed, mad mess of a man. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to see that in the video.
Skinwalker Wayne.
Oh God.
Digivolve 2, tired.
But today we actually do have a little bit, not a huge topic
Wait,
to
who
talk
are you
about.
though? Who are you? You haven't
I don't-
introduced
I don't-
yourself. Who are you?
I don't think it matters. Hi, everybody. Kidding. And I'm Cirrus. I don't know why I'm here. But we do have one thing to talk about today. It's not a huge thing because we didn't get a whole lot of information where it's concerned, but we did get a trailer for Sonic Prime at the very least. So when we are done reading the super chats from last week that we do need to catch up on, we are going to be talking a little bit about Mommy and Daddy fighting.
Yeah, there is more Frontier stuff to talk about, but since we're doing like a midweek show, we decided since we have another show day after tomorrow morning, we're gonna save our thoughts on that for that show. So it's gonna be a shorter episode today.
We're also just taking it easy because, like, Nick is dead,
We're all
Wayne is dead.
dying.
Me, I still haven't adjusted to the time zones, and, well, Cirrus is just Cirrus.
He's been asking me questions at 4:45 in the morning on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, the
About how to kill a
watermelon
We
thing.
do need to get that sorted sooner rather than later. I think you're right. We'll talk about it.
We're gonna eat that watermelon. It's gonna be good. Like, do you like watermelon?
I could probably survive off a bit of watermelon, and the tortoise definitely would love some.
I
Watermelon.
need some watermelon. Like, yesterday evening, I ordered Cheetos-coated chicken wings, and they've turned all of my shits into liquid. Anyways,
We
enough
need
on that.
I've been I need to actually get better and cook for you because Jesus Christ, you're gonna kill yourself.
No, listen, here's the thing, is, like, this is this, like, first initial few weeks thing where I'm just like, okay, I gotta try all the things. And then after that, I'm gonna be like, okay, sensible eating now, or somewhat sensible eating now.
I'm just warning you now, pup. Just looking at me and what I've gone through operation wise, like I know what cholesterol smells like now. Like just be careful.
Yeah, it's cool, man. My gallbladder's in good condition. You can still play golf with that thing, it's great.
Oh my god. Anyway, gentlemen, we finally know the release date for Sonic Prime. We've seen a new trailer.
I have to get Netflix again.
Yeah.
Do you though? Do you really?
You can always.
Well, I
we
feel
can
like
always-
this is a good excuse. I can hop on one of those free trials. That they yeah, and then like I've got so many shows I've been meaning to catch up on because I don't have Netflix anymore, so I can watch
Yeah.
Arcane, and that looks really good. And I gotta watch Cyberpunk because apparently that's really good, and apparently it will also make me sad. And
apparently it
then
has nudity in it as well.
and Sonic or some shit.
Did you? So,
No,
so
it's
we're
attached
saying
right
that
off of YouTube,
Cyberpunk,
buddy.
Cyberpunk came out and it didn't need to be patched a whole bunch.
Listen,
Uh,
that wasn't CD Projekt Red's fault.
what, the game? Because
Yeah.
Because it kind of is.
It not. I mean, it really. You think
Yes.
so?
I'm gonna be
I-
honest.
I
do I,
think that
do I
was-
think?
they had entire control over that project, 100%.
They actually did not at all. They were really backed into a corner by their investors and people setting release dates for them that they knew they couldn't reach, and they were doing their best to make it work, and it just couldn't under all the pressure. So I don't blame them.
Do the
Everybody else
investors
will.
count?
I don't.
Do the
No,
investors
I'm
count
I'm
as-
still gonna blame them a little bit. I'm still gonna blame 'em a little bit.
do the investors count as like technically they're part of CD Projekt Red?
I mean, that's just a technicality then, though. You know, he's talking about the dev team themselves.
No, I get it. The dev team, yeah, like the dev team always
Yeah,
have
that-
to work
that-
around the
the-
leadership
The
of
dev
the
team has
publisher.
a good track record. I think just based off of their previous merits, I don't think it's entirely fair to just assume that the blame should all be on them for that.
I don't think
There's so
um,
many factors that go into game development nowadays,
Yeah.
especially a project of that size.
I don't
I
think,
think
there's.
crunch culture in general should just be thrown into a blender and forgot about.
And
But
I-
you know,
I don't think there's ever a situation where the publisher is going to the developers like, "Oh, please, I've given you all the time in the world. Just make a good game already."
I mean, publisher will actually pop in and just be like, release it now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
Like-
I'm saying. Like, yeah, the publisher, they don't even fucking touch the game. Like, they're just like, yeah, just release it. Like, what does it load? Yeah, okay, release it. It's fine.
What was that joke from the Animaniacs where they were looking at like the credits and they're like, "What does a producer do?" And they're like, "Oh, they shove some money and then they take all the credit for all the hard work."
Good old Animaniacs.
Well, anyway, Sonic Prime.
Yeah, it looks good, innit?
Oh, it looked okay.
Green
So-
Hill again?
If there's one thing I will say about the trailer, despite the fact that it's, you know, we're stuck in Green Hill, I do like at the very least, the sky looks a little bit different, but I'm not going to hammer on the Green Hill thing. I think they're just keeping us in that one location
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
for sure.
trailers because we know that we know we're going to be going to different areas at the very least.
As
we
it
also know that
stands.
3D.
My opinions on Green Hill returning in TV shows and movies is a lot different from my opinions on Green Hill
Having
returning
to
in
play
games.
it again.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
at least different assets.
Like, no, yeah, I don't think anybody would have. Anybody was complaining when like South Island showed up in the first Sonic movie.
Oh, I was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I think my big takeaway from this though is that the fight scenes, Sonic has not had the best track record with TV and fight scenes, I've noticed. Like, so Sonic Boom, you could tell they were working with a shoestring budget anytime there was like an actual fight going on.
Oh yeah, that was a mainly conversational show, and like a fight scene
Yeah.
just consists of Eggman floats in, Sonic bops him, and that's basically it.
But then, like, if you go even further back, look at Sonic X. There is not a single fight scene in Sonic X that I think has any weight behind it. I love that show. I really do. There's a lot of interesting things it does, but like
It
all
doesn't
of the
have good
fights in
action.
there, yeah, all of the fights, all of the action in that show is just garbage. And then, like, if you look at that track record and then look at this, like, this is almost night and day compared to what we've gotten before, at least in the trailers, which, you know, this may be the only bit of good action in the whole show and then the rest is going to be garbo. We don't know.
It might
We have no
also
way of
be
knowing.
like a pilot thing as well. Like sometimes the pilots have bigger budgets, and then the rest of
Yeah.
the series is a bit more run off the mill. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but like in Sonic Boom Season 2, like the first couple of episodes looked really nice animation wise, and then after that, it looked like a video game.
It basically went back to season 1 standards
No,
again.
not even that. It literally was like no lighting whatsoever.
So I'm hoping with this one, the budget will actually kind of shine through a little bit, because I've noticed just with this scene, an improvement over what we've had before. Even though stuff like you said, Sonic Boom was a conversational show, it makes sense that that show is going to have less focus on its action. Even with that considered, this is still a bit of a stark contrast. I don't know if this will continue, but if it does, I will be very happy because I want a Sonic show where when cool things happen, I'm invested in them, as opposed to wishing I was just playing the game where they at least look better.
Considering everything we've seen so far has had no focus whatsoever on dialogue, I feel like there's going to be a much bigger emphasis on action in general from all the little things we saw here. That's my indication, at the very least. And I think that also forgives some of the more wonky stills that we've seen. I think he looks ridiculous. Like, I know me and Pup disagree on this, but like when he's running up the side of the hill, I thought he looked terrible. But outside of that, like the fight between him and Shadow was fast and fluid, and the nice dynamic shots for Eggman and everything. I think it's going to be heavily focused on action.
Wallace, what say you, man?
The animation is bouncy and expressive, and they move around a lot, and I guess that's kind of all they really gave us in the trailer.
All right,
That's all
thanks
I
for
really
watching,
want.
Kind
everybody.
of all we got. Yeah.
All right, let's get the skeleton in.
I mean, like, I'm curious to see how everyone's characterized. I think is one thing that I kind of pulled away from that, because I'm like, oh, Sonic and Shadow fighting, and it doesn't look like there's any greater purpose behind it. That I'm sure that's going to be something that they sort of kick the show off of, or with rather. And I think it's just kind of boiling everybody back down to its basics. It's probably too soon to be worried about this, but I keep getting this weird, like, little gnawing worry in the back of my mind that there's going to be, like, is Sonic going to be an interesting character? Or is he just going to be flat, like he has for a lot of other projects, where he's just the main character that comes in, says a line or two, and does the thing? Do his decisions have any critical thinking to them? Do they have emotional weight? Do the events... Is it going to be shallow writing, I guess, is really just kind of what I'm going for, because I don't get a lot beyond that with Sonic as a character most of the time. He's usually just kind of quippy, haha, platformer, funny man, and that's it. I think IDW is the only time I've seen him attempted to be given some depth outside of like one line of dialogue in Black Knight. Everybody shut up. You know?
Yeah. And I honestly don't know which way it's going to go, because just it could go either way. I'm ironic as it is, going by my avatar, I'm not famously a Ben 10 supporter, but I've heard they can get very character focused and lore focused and everything, but at the same time, I mean, I've seen a little bit of the Mega Man show that Wild Brains worked on, and you know,
Yeah.
so that could go either way. But hopefully, considering how they're trying to hype this up, they are considering this for more than just their basic little kid demographic. So
I
don't know.
I know there's something to be said about a kid's property being made for kids, but I also think that there's a level of understanding some studios need to have, and I'm not saying that Man of Action doesn't have that understanding, but there's an understanding that needs to be had that more than just kids watch this stuff. I've
Yeah.
never really been a huge fan of the and I know you're not making this point, Nick, but I know that I see this point a lot, especially in the Sonic community. This is just made for kids. Okay, a lot of things are made for kids. It's fine. You can still do good writing. I want to see, like Wayne said, a less flat version of some of these characters. I don't care if they have arcs at all. They can be static characters that don't change by the time the show is over. I don't need another long-winded Shadow arc. I don't need a Sonic arc of self-discovery. I don't need a contemplative Eggman wondering if Mr. Tinker was truly what he wanted to be in this. But I would like game accurate characters that are more than just whatever one note they can boil them down to. So Knuckles as more than a meathead, Amy as more than the fangirl, Tails as more than the sidekick. I'd like to see that, and we don't have any information on what we're going to get quite yet.
I mean, we had the initial press release where they said it's going to be a show with like themes of redemption and stuff like that, and like part of me is kind of, I'm still expecting the writing to be a bit more on the shallow end because mass market kids cartoon and all that. And obviously, you know, the better shows are the ones that do appeal to both children and adults. I think it'll appeal to adults as well. I think it'll be on quite a shallow level, but I think it will still be like entertaining in that sort of, it's a Saturday morning cartoon kind of way, you know. You can kind of enjoy it just from the sheer energy it exudes. I mean, at the same time, I guess I'd probably be a bit more critical of the writing once it's out, based on that press release. You know, now that they've put forward that this is going to be a show that has some more serious stuff going on, you know, I kind of would like it to do more. But it's like, it's one of those things where if it's a purely action-focused show, they can swing it on just having good action. And from what we've seen, you know, like, we've seen very little. We've seen Sonic and Shadow, and it looks kinetic enough. That looks like something I could watch and enjoy, you know? And, like, yeah, like, I don't know. I'm thinking it's still going to be very run-off-the-mill Sonic. That's what my expectation is. I hope it's more, but, you know, I'm just kind of being realistic. I think it's going to be your average kid's Saturday morning cartoon. And you know what? I might just like that just fine. Just depends how much energy it's got. Going by that trailer, we're seeing a lot of energy there. Also, Devin Mack as Sonic, I'm sold. I think he's excellent, like, from what I've heard. Like, he's only said a few lines of dialogue, but he sounds like a very authentic young Sonic. He sounds like the Roger Craig Smith Sonic, but he sounds authentically youthful, you know? And that's not a slight at Roger Craig Smith.
Roger Craig Smith has never quite sold me on young Sonic. He's now granted, there is something that I've noticed, like, the Sonics sounding a bit older as the games go on isn't exactly a horrible thing, but you know that that's not on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Roger's great, but I think, you know, it sounds more like an adult playing a teenager, whereas I think Devin Mack just naturally has that voice. Whether or not he'll do the performance side of things as well as Roger can do. I mean, we haven't really seen Roger get much opportunity to do much with the character aside from Sonic Boom, where he was doing it strictly comedic. He did a fantastic job of that. Anyways, like, aside from the whole fucking Roger versus Devin debate, yeah, I think Devin Mack is going to be a great Sonic. We heard a slight grunt from Dr. Robotnik, that's going to be, I think, one of the most interesting things for me, is seeing the modern Dr. Robotnik in his modern design, not made of toilet polygons, speaking in a voice that isn't Mike Pollock.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you guys about that too, because we do know the voice cast, and I could not place who Eggman was.
Yeah, it's... So, who here has seen Adrenaline dubs? Is it just me who's watched Adrenaline dub stuff on the IDW comic?
I saw them on the table across from us at Sonic Revolution.
Right, yeah, but I was going to say, yeah, me too.
Okay, so I'm the only one who's actually, like, watched their content.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have an interesting take on Eggman, and because Mike Pollock is such a huge, when you think Mike Pollock's Eggman, it stands out. Like, his performance as Eggman is always a steal the show type of performance. Whether you like it or not, he makes you pay attention to him. There is a much more subdued and subtle Eggman that's used for Adrenaline dubs. While I can't really place who's Eggman in a cast either for Sonic Prime, and I'm gonna do a quick look up to see if maybe we've got that confirmed or not. But I am hoping we get a less Pollock and more Adrenaline dubs type deal, even if it's like nothing like what we've heard before. I don't want a Pollock impersonator, is what I'm saying, because I like Pollock's performance for how Pollock does it.
Yeah, so that's kind of my thing, is I'm like, while Pollock is still in the game and still doing his work with it, with a big multimedia franchise like this, as it's kind of spreading out into different forms of media and everything all the time, I think it's a good opportunity to start looking at other takes for these characters. It's kind of like how so many actors just started doing the Mark Hamill Joker every time, Joker came back up, because it's just recognizable. But there are other really good performances as Joker that aren't so one-to-one that.
I think I just figured out. I think it's Brian. I think it's Brian Drummond. Sorry for interrupt, but I think it's Brian Drummond.
But yeah, if you want to go ahead and finish your point, Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a little different for me when it's like, here's a legacy cast that's been doing these characters, and they have like formed these characters. The Scooby-Doo cast, I guess, being one of them. I'm not much of a Scooby-Doo fan, but like, the cast behind that is what helps make that series. At the same time, while Pollock is still getting work as the character, I think it'd be good to see some new interpretations. Get some other talented people in that chair and just kind of like have fun with the character. It doesn't need to be the same thing every time. I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying, where I was just like, I was watching the Prime trailer. I was just like, yep, this sure is like Sonic the Hedgehog talking, and it's like lines that I'm sure I've heard him say like 15 other times, and Lord knows what. I just want to see something new from these characters, man.
Yeah,
I don't disagree. Sorry, go on, Nick.
I was just gonna say pretty much that, like at the start of that, like I don't disagree, but also at the same time, and I've said this months ago when we first talked about the show, I've never had a Sonic cartoon that felt like it was firmly in a Sonic world. So it's I kind of want them to do some real Sonic ass stuff. So I've been pretty okay with Green Hill and Eggman sounding kind of like Eggman, and Shadow fighting Sonic and all this stuff, because they don't do it a whole lot. They usually get a little bit out there in terms of Sonic animated products. And ironically enough, like Eggman is one of those characters, especially in not in comics, actually in comics too. Archie Eggman. But like, he has had such a wild diversity of characters within his single character.
Yep.
So I'm happy. I'm of two minds of it. Like, I really want them to kind of find like the baseline of what a Sonic the Hedgehog product is, not just like a really out there idea like Sat AM or Boom or like any of them. Like Sonic X really was the closest we had, and even then that took place on Earthworld, and then changed up the canon a little bit there until it unchanged it. And but I'm pretty okay with them starting off with the baseline. This is what Sonic the Hedgehog is, and I think that's what they're going to be going for here. I think what we're actually going to be seeing is these characters having to really branch out with what they are supposed to do. I think you guys are going to be in for, and Serge probably would be more excited for this than anybody. You're getting the storybook series, because we're going to be getting these characters interpreted in different variations from dimension to dimension. And I think Green Hill is just our established, this is Sonic's home base world.
Which is smart. I mean, yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, or, you, Wayne. I'm just thinking, like, I'm okay with it if they do just want to do Sonic as Sonic. If they just want to do everything as it's presented in the games, because it's Sonic Prime. This is the show that is touted as the Sonic show that exists within that universe. This isn't, an out there concept. At the same time, I'm also open to new takes. The other thing I would say, though, is, like, Devin Mack, on YouTube and stuff, he's done things where he's done, like, little IDW readings and puppet shows and stuff pertaining to Sonic. And his Sonic voice in those is much more his own voice. Whereas in Prime, he's doing more of the Roger Craig Smith style of Sonic. Now, the thing I'm thinking here is that I'm fully expecting the Robotnik to be more of the Pollock variety, simply because I think while they have got new voice actors, they are still trying to keep them on brand with the game ones. So, like, that's what I think is actually going on here. is that I think, whether or not these actors have their own voices for these characters in mind, they are probably being instructed to sound more like the game versions for the sake of brand synergy, effectively. And it is quite clear, from like the IDW comics, from Sonic Frontiers, from Takeshi Iizuka saying that he wants there to be one Sonic universe and wants to bring everything together, that they want to synergize this brand now. So I definitely say I would be fine if Robotnik comes in sounding like Mike Pollock. I would also be happy to see a more subtle new take, but I fully expect it to be the more on-brand Pollockin style of Eggman.
And
They're gonna
be... Sorry, go ahead, Cyrus.
I was just gonna say that I hate when you say something that I want to vehemently disagree with, but it makes way too much sense. Because this is one of those times where I want to go, no, they've got these different people. They could do so many things. And I'm like, no, Pup's probably right. If that is the case with Devin Max Sonic being different in different interpretations, and then for Prime, it's very firmly video game Sonic sounding video game Sonic. Then if what I'm reading is right and we do have Brian Drummond as Eggman, then we're just going to get Brian Drummond impersonating Pollock as Pollock Eggman.
Well, just for the sake of Brian Drummond specifically here, something to kind of compare to is also when Dragon Ball Z switched up their English voice actors, because Brian Drummond was the original Vegeta, and he set the standard of what that character is supposed to be up until it's not Chris Sabat. Who's the guy?
Sean Tramel's Goku.
Maybe it's Chris.
I think it is Sabat.
Okay, so when Chris took over, I mean, if you've ever listened to those, like it was, because I think I was like in middle school when that happened. I don't remember, but it was like a really jarring shift. It was like stiff and it was weird, and they were trying to do the old voice cast, but after a while, since that was the voice cast, Chris kind of went and made it his own. And now when I'm asked like who do I like better, Brian or Chris, like I have to give like the caveat answer, which is like I like younger Vegeta when it's Brian. I like older Vegeta when it's Chris. I like Dad Vegeta to be Chris. Because he made it his own thing. And Brian is he's a very good voice actor. He's a very seasoned voice actor. So I think he is, even if it does sound a little bit more like Pollock, which could be a problem. If you remember Pollock making kind of a stink about Jim Carrey kind of slightly sounding like him during movie 2, that could potentially be an issue, because Pollock is very protective of what he puts into the character and his contribution and all that fun stuff. So we might have some drama there if that's the case. But regardless, if it is Brian Drummond doing Eggman specifically, I really don't think you could do better in terms of like a seasoned dude who can go and take that, interpret it, make it similar, but still turn it into something else.
I mean, there's also the possibility, because I mean, like, if you look back at Sonic X in the early episodes, Mike Pollock's Robotnik was much closer to Dean Bristow. Like, it was kind of Pollock's version of Bristow. There's every possibility that when Prime first comes out, these are all the actors kind of doing their thing, but like based around the way they sound in the games, and then they evolve slightly later on. However, we've also got to take into account that, like, also sorry for that alert sound. That was just like it records my desktop audio to get these boys in. Yeah, you guys didn't. The stream did. Oh. It's just a thing. It lets me know when my motherboard temperature's a little high. I've disabled it, but
it lets you know when your mother's hot.
My motherboard is hot. Anyways, the reason it might not go in that direction is we've got to remember with Sonic X, that voice cast went on to replace the originals, whereas here, I mean, it could still happen, but like I know that Devin Mack like did that little sit down video when he was first announced as Sonic, saying, "Don't worry, I'm not a replacement for Roger Craig Smith or anything like that," which was very
for now
incredibly courteous of him. But it's like, for now, we know what Sega are like. I mean, would hope. Sorry, go on.
we literally started one of our first topics of the show, like who's the next voice actor for Sonic, since he wasn't going to do it for a little bit. Well, not Devin, but
Yeah, Roger. Because there was
Like,
like
they're
a
all very
3-month.
replaceable. Yeah.
It was like a 3-month period almost where it was just like he wasn't confirmed for any projects anymore.
And here's
Yeah,
another
and then
thing.
just-
Let's look at the law of averages here. So, Roger Craig Smith has changed his Sonic voice up a little bit for Sonic Frontiers. And it sounds really good, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are in agreement. The new voice is a bit more subtle. Sounds really good. Remember what happened when the last Sonic voice actor before him had a slightly more subtle performance that was way better.
When we got the Black Knight and Unleashed performances back to back,
Yeah,
and then
like
they were
when-
the last performances.
When it was like Jason Griffith finally managed to turn all of the skeptics, and everyone was like, "Oh man, he sounds great," and then Sega's like, "Okay, yep, you're out."
I mean, just bluntly, and this is no disrespect to voice actors because I know a few of them and they're all wonderful, wonderful human beings. But I mean, they're very disposable for businessmen.
Yeah, they
Extremely
shouldn't be.
disposable. Of course not. Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
but that is the reality. Is that's how they're treated.
I mean, yeah, let's look
Yeah.
at the way fucking Ryan Drummond and the original cast were treated, like just swapped out for not really any real reason at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only one that really has any kind of legacy in terms of Sonic voice acting is Sonic's Japanese voice actor.
It's so
Like, they-
weird to think there is a country on this planet where Sonic's voice has stayed the same in every game, where the Sonic voice in Lost World is the same as the Sonic voice in Sonic Adventure.
But the reason for that, though, is that Japan has a very different view on their legacy characters than America does when it comes to voices. They have as a culture, they have a proclivity for keeping the same voice actor, even when a character ages, for as long as humanly possible. The voice actress behind Goku has been the same since the character was 10 years old, till now when the character's like, what, 62? Like, he's old as hell as far as DBZ is concerned. He's just not, like, as old as he could, or Dragon Ball Super's concerned. He's just not as old as he could be because Saiyan DNA or some shit. But still, like, we still have the exact same voice of Goku from when he was 10 till now in Japan
Yeah.
because they keep that legacy actor for as long as they can manage, which is not a thing we do over here. I wish it was a thing we did over here. because, like-
I don't.
I don't wish it was a thing.
Woman.
Okay, so what I'm saying though is that the feeling behind it of like this is
Sure,
the
sure,
character
sure.
who voices
Yeah.
this. I'm not saying like when a character stops being like, I don't want the voice actress who did Frieza in Funimation to be Goku. As funny as that would be.
Yeah.
Genkai Frieza.
Oh god.
Man, I'm
was
just
such a-
right now I'm just picturing the Sonic Lost World cutscenes, but Sonic is voiced by Ryan Drummond, Tails is Cory Bringus, Robotnik Mike Pollock, and it feels wrong. It feels so off.
Point is, we're discussing stuff we don't know any. We don't know the truth to any of it. We have not seen any of the contracts. We have no idea.
Can we talk a little more about the animation? Because we did get to see quite a bit of that, and we've really only touched on that slightly.
Before we do that, let's get caught up on our super chats here before we are too overloaded, because we did promise we would do that before we talked about the show, and we certainly didn't do that.
We are incompetent.
We don't have that many, and we're very
Yeah.
very thankful for everybody.
Yeah, we don't have that many. You guys are not very generous at all. I'm just kidding.
Oh my
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god.
First
Yes.
up, we have Sony with $5 Canadian. Can't wait to see the Zedian Prime. Hashtag ready for Zeddy. Hashtag Zavox. How does he always get here first? And also, yeah, if the Zeddy's going to be in any show, it's probably going to be this one. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's where I prefer them to be over anything.
I would
else.
have been
I'm-
intrigued by a Boom Zavok. I think they could have made it work.
Oh my god.
They made everything work. Nick, you're up.
We do need to talk about characters real quick. Just off Sony's just inspired me there. Pup, you did point out to us this tweet. Freedom Fighters are confirmed not to be in it, not surprising anybody. But the IDW characters, also probably not surprising, they're not off the table.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, one of the writers or animators, I can't remember who, but it was a staff member, was asked, can we expect to see any Archie or IDW characters? And they said, like, Archie and SatAM, no. I can't really say for the rest of it. Not sure if we're allowed to say. I'm gonna be real. Like, if they are in that, that's a really tactless answer because that's not very good at keeping secrets if they are in it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you basically said definite no to one, not gonna rule the others out. Effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops, I said the loud part quiet and the quiet part loud.
No,
This-
I think it's good to get that shit out there for some fans. Be like, hey, this is probably not.
Oh yeah,
Not
I'm just
gonna
wondering if it's good for their
Say-
NDA.
Yeah, Sega's very, very adamantly against the Freedom Fighters, and they've been trying to push them out of the comics for years. So,
Well, Sonic Spinball is now canon.
but, I mean, I don't know how canon it actually is. I know Flynn's trying to
Because
make
there
it
was a
canon.
Bumblecast where he basically said it's canon, don't think too much about it. Also, I mean, you've got Mount Mobius in Sonic Origins.
Yeah,
It's true.
no, I know. I literally have a video coming out talking about that today.
What's
You
Mobius?
edited it. Anyway, I'm excited to see some IDW characters. I would really like to see a properly voiced Starline.
What if Starline is a girl and her name is Starline?
Good for her. Live your best life, Queen.
I want to kiss that
All right.
duck bill.
like
Xavier
that.
Fortin with a 279 in cause. Thank you. Happy Venus Day, Gilly.
God's sake.
Oh God. There's some more. Your turn, sirs.
It'll. Someone else needs to take mine real quick.
All right. Omega Mr. Salty with 299. Wayne, you want to take Xavier?
Yeah, we got Xavier Fortin, 279 Canadian. Happy early Venus Day, Gilly.
Xavier's been on a roll too.
Yeah,
Bob, your turn.
Xavier's got deep pockets today. Jesus. So
Well, that was from
yeah,
last
I
week.
know.
Yeah, okay.
279 Canadian. I bet Wayne's head is in ruins after the Digimon vid. You get it?
Well,
Because
we'll get
Van-
to that. We'll get to that.
Did they vandalize your heart? I had a hiccup. Oh no.
Tony again gave us the exact same. Oh my God. I am once again spreading my Zeddy propaganda. Hashtag ready for Zeddy. Hashtag Zavix.
You're gonna
Zweet.
make me a fan of the Zeddy if you're not careful.
I mean, I think Flynn might have accidentally for me.
I need to read the Zeddy Hunt story. What happened was I was reading through it all chronologically, and I got to the end of the infection arc, and it got to the annual stories, and then the Tangle and Whisper stories, and then I traveled to America, and I don't have my IDW comics with me. But
That's fair.
Okay.
Sirius, you back?
Which one are we on?
You're
yeah,
on-
I am back. Which one are we on?
Funny enough, you're on Omega Mr. Salty again.
Is this the 299 one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, read all of that out. I
Yep.
know it's quite a bit. But...
Let me go ahead and strap in Omega Mr. Salty. Thank you very much for the 299 upside down dollars.
I keep
Okay.
seeing
Yep.
my little cat sleep in the same dog bed as my dog when they didn't used to like each other at all, and she keeps like getting up whenever I spot her doing it, and it's really adorable.
I took a picture of the two of them together yesterday. They are so cute.
I think Story's just real lonely, just because now we have a blind cat that takes up all of Mama's time.
Well, that's fine. I'm happy to give Story some attention.
what
I know,
happened.
but it's nice to see her get along with the dog.
No, they're my
makes me
friends.
happy.
I don't care.
Well, because I mean, we have black cats that kind of just live in our yard, and anytime Ghost sees them, he goes charging after them, barking like crazy. But
I
now that we
will
have one in
drive
the
a
house,
wedge
he's-
between the two, and they will love me more than they love each other.
God damn it.
Sirius, you can't come here next month.
It's fine. I'll sleep in the yard.
I'm the friend of the pets.
we need to figure out your sleeping situation, because right now all I have is pizza couch for you, and by pizza couch I mean more of a pizza love seat.
Oh, dude.
Me
Come on.
and Pup get real.
I've sat
real
in
cool.
that, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I
man,
could always
don't
just
know
make
what
up a-
seat is.
All right.
I could always just
Next
make
to
up a
each other.
palette. It's not hard.
Oh yeah, I remember when it was like one of the first nights here was like we were playing Sonic Unleashed or Sonic Generations or whatever it was that we were playing at the time, and Nick sits down on the pizza couch and his arm just brushes against me and goes, "Ew, I'm not gay."
My
That's
God.
exactly what was said. That's a real
Yeah, well,
story.
no, you did say it. You did say I'm not gay.
Oh, well, I got to give you some kind of boundaries, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
I'm still like conditioned to just assume everything that Pup says is a lie.
What the
That's fair.
fuck, Wayne? You're my friend.
Hmm.
someone read the next super chat.
Wayne, you're up with Webster.
Well, is it Webster with 5 pounding Pup? Not much, but put this towards Nick's hospital bill.
I feel like I had a
Thanks,
stroke
Webster.
listening to
Hey.
you say that, and then I read it out myself.
I
and then
felt
was
like I was having one.
There's nothing wrong with any of this.
I don't.
No, I think
there really wasn't. I don't know. I think I just. I
Also,
think a
there was-
part of my brain just turned off for a second there. Don't mind me.
also,
I think a part of you just realized halfway through, oh, I'm not going to get money from this. It's going to Nick. Screw Nick.
Yeah, I think my brain really is in ruins.
also,
I'm
Webster,
very terrified to see what that bill's gonna be.
Webster,
Ugh.
aka Spider-Man, has made a terrific video on Shadow the Hedgehog, which I think everyone should check out. Just want to put that out there.
Yes.
And I will also be retweeting that on my own Twitter as well. So just
Nice.
yeah.
Do it.
OzJamH with $5. Hey fellas, how you fellows doing? Sane? Yeah, me too. Which is not. By the way, pup, congrats on the new channels Clifford, Blues Clues, and Gur of Invader Zim. Okay, that's smart. That's actually very clever.
That was really good.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I'm just I've had some folks a bit worried saying, "Are you going to be able to manage 3 channels?" Don't worry, the workload's the exact same. I'm just putting videos that fucking flop on my red channel into the others to give them their best chance in the algorithm. So, you know, we'll see how they go. We'll see how they go.
Yeah. All right. Way past cool kid with 99 cents. Thank you so much. Very quiet this time. Very weird.
Yeah, did you say anything way past cool kid, or did Wayne just fail?
I just
Oh,
there wasn't any text.
Oh my god, you poor little angel. Don't worry, I'm not really accusing you. Dry those tears.
Oh my-
Come here. Come here. Let me give you a cuddle. Oh, there we go. All better. All better.
He's not gay.
all right.
Anyways,
Let's go to the most
Jam H, thank
sinister
you very
moment.
much for the $10. As someone who's seen Man of Action shows, while some are misses, mainly executive meddling, they have some good shows like Generator Rex, which one of the members on Prime stated to be more like that. That's at least good to hear.
That is good to hear. And I feel like we talked about all this before. We're just kind of. It sometimes feels like an old episode, you know, because we're kind of speculating on the same stuff we've been speculating on for months now, just because we don't have that much more information.
Can you imagine how terrible it's going to be if when the show comes out we have even less to say about it?
Oh,
I think we'll be all right.
because it's gonna suck.
I
I'm
think
not
we'll be okay.
Jesus Christ.
What
All
day
right.
you're up?
And then we got way past cool kid. Actually, Mike 1911 with $4.99. What would it take for the inept developers of SOJ
Sega of Japan.
to bring back the Freedom Fighters? Because I really want them back.
I was
They're
saying
not
to
gotta bring them back.
I was saying to
That's
Nick.
they're not coming back.
I was saying to
They're
Nick,
dead.
you've got more chance of seeing them in one of the Paramount movies than you have in any of the official like core canon games, because like the movies have clearly kind of embraced a little bit of like Sonic's history from different areas. Like, you know, we've seen like the Echidna tribes, we've seen the return of Mobius, whether or not they're naming it that in the actual films. Either way, like Sonic is from another planet there. And like, as well as that, Paramount are clearly able to say no to Sega, where other companies are a bit more in the palm of their hand, you know? So I'm not saying anything like I think they will. I still think it's very unlikely. but I think you got more chance of seeing them in the movies than you have in the games.
See, closest thing we're gonna get, Sonic 3 starts, and we're getting a small recap on events previous, just to catch up the audience. You know, maybe we start with a cold open that just kind of like teases Shadow or whatever, and we cut to Sonic just talking about like his adventures with Eggman, meeting Tails and Knuckles, all that kind of stuff, and just kind of establishing where he is in the world now. And we find out that he's been talking this entire time, just a little chipmunk that's sitting on a branch next to him, who's not paying him any attention at all. And
then
he's
he
like, I'm gonna
fucks
name you Sally. And no, I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want that to happen.
That was perfect.
Never mind. It's the moment's gone.
Well, as the resident freedom fighter enjoyer here, who's not going to respond with vitriol or sass, you little shit. I mean, they're not wrong, Mike. The fact of the matter is, they've never been a part of Sega of Japan's situation. Sega of Japan has always been a very, very proud, very old school company, and they've been wanting to get rid of the Freedom Fighters for a very, very long time. It's just that Archie get away with keeping them around for as long as they did. So when Sega could cut ties with them, I'm going to assume they also drowned all of those animals as quickly as possible because they do not like them.
It's true. I killed them myself.
Yeah. That said, though, we also don't know exactly what the rights are for the Freedom Fighters. We know that they're not Ken Penders, but we know Deke owns, or I guess Wildberry now, they own the television rights to the old show. I know that Archie owns the rights of the revised designs when they rebooted the comic, but they could be wrapped up in other sort of garbage like that because in the early 90s, Sega was not exactly good about keeping this shit under wraps. I mean, for God's sakes, look at the state of Marvel. It is the way it is just because they had to keep selling off rights of different characters to different studios. And even the most powerful company on the planet, Disney, can't get it all under one roof in a nice, easy package. So
It might
just not be worth the trouble.
Bureaucracy.
For the sake
My
of
favorite.
for the sake of Devil's Advocate, and I know no one likes Devil's Advocate, but I'm going to do it anyway. I almost kind of get it. You know, like Sega of Japan, like Sonic comes from Japan and everything. Like, it's kind of their thing. And I kind of get if they're like, oh, why are you fucking taking this in this complete opposite direction? Like, but at the same time, I kind of feel like that would be much more warranted if Sega of Japan had a much clearer idea of what Sonic is, or a much more comprehensive and cohesive idea of what Sonic is. And also just, yeah, like, no, I'm not going to say anything. Like, I had a point that I was almost going to regurgitate from the video that I edited for Nick. No, I'm not going to fucking say that. He'll say that when he says it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole other topic conversation.
You'll
and
see it when
I'm
you
kinda
see
prepping.
it. But keep an
Yeah,
eye
I'm
out for
prepping
Nick's latest video. I edited it. Tell him how good the editing is.
It's really good, actually.
Is
it's
it good?
really, really good.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah. You caught a few more of my joke spots in terms of like when to shift over with music and stuff. So I was really proud of you. It was really good.
Oh, cool. That might not have been intentional.
I mean, no, there's one I thought you did like way better than I had in my head.
Oh, okay.
I really chuckled at. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as far as like how Sega of Japan and America handled each other, like it's a very famous, very problematic situation. And when you have a head like Yuji Naka, that didn't help anything. But that's another topic for another time. Point is, the Freedom Fighters are not worth the trouble right now. They just aren't. And that's coming from King Simpmunk himself. Let's move on.
He's abandoned you. He's abandoned all of you.
Oh my god. Whose turn is it?
That was mine.
I think I read that one. Okay.
Otis Small sends $2. Nick isn't gay. He's a top. Hashtag hi Mr. Boojay.
I mean, take what I want. Sirius.
Next one we have here is from OzJam H. Thank you for the $5. Also, speaking of voice actors, how about that Tails tube with our favorite Emerald Guardian boy?
We're gonna.
Hey, I actually really liked a moment from that. Did we want to talk about that today?
Yep. No. We're just staying on Prime today. This
Okay.
all has to do with Frontier. So let's.
We'll
Well, I will share my thoughts on that next.
We'll move that to
Yeah.
Friday.
2
We'll
days
discuss
from now.
Tales Tube Friday, because we've got a fair little bit of like Sonic Frontiers stuff for Friday. There are some videos I want to send to you guys that I'd appreciate if we could all just watch a little bit of before, unless you don't want to watch leaks, that's fine.
I mean, is it just from like show floor stuff?
Yeah, show floor stuff.
Yeah, that's no big deal. It's whatever. It's demo stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the stuff
I
you're
don't know
showing
if-
off willingly anyway.
You might want to go in blind, I don't know, but playing video game blind seems kind of useless because how are you supposed to fucking see?
I mean, it's just like little assets or
Yeah,
shit like that. I'm not worried about it. God damn it.
Every once in a while, I just find like an out of pocket like cluster of words he snuck into a sentence.
Yeah, I know. I'm stumbling through my point, and then I just kind of fall apart when all hits my brain.
Ha! Destroyed in debate. Pup Shapiro wins a get fucked.
Take that,
Liberal.
bro.
Okay, we're caught up with our super chats. Pup, you wanted to talk about the animation a little bit.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
Yep.
animation good. Animation good.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
I think it's
obviously.
better than... Sorry, Wayne, you go on.
I was gonna say it's an obvious. Still need to see more of it, but it looks promising, and I always just like when animators remember you can still do squash and stretch in 3D. So
Yeah, no,
There does seem...
Sorry, go on, Sirius. I fumbled my chance to speak. You take yours. Go on.
There does seem to be some squash and stretch. It doesn't seem to be a whole heck of a lot, but it is at least a little better. Like I said before, though, I'm just happy this is a step up from what we got in previous shows. Action looks like a regular action scene, not like an action scene made in Gary's mod.
Yeah.
I do not like the way characters moved around in Boom, and this feels like an improvement.
I agree. I don't know if the overall models look better to me or not, but the fact that they're animating is much more important to me.
I remember I kicked up a stink about Sonic's arms when they first did that initial reveal of a couple of seconds. With the benefit of hindsight, this looks definitely... Well, I didn't hate his arms when I was watching it, so...
I wanna go back and I wanna see if I said anything to the effect of like it's probably makes sense when it's in motion.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's also mainly the thing of it only looks like that for like a split second, basically. Like, for like 98% of that fucking trailer, he looks pretty much on model with the game Sonic, just with a few tweaks, such as the new Quilly texture he's got, and I really like that, by the way. I like what they've done with the sort of Quilly pattern on his blue fur. But yeah, I love the way this thing looks. I love that also that forced perspective shot at the end of like Sonic's arm coming out as he's like jumping off the side of a cliff.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of shit I'm into. It's like it looks expressive.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
yeah.
the thing is, there's going to be a lot of elephant in the room stuff because people are going to compare the animation in this to the animation in Sonic Frontiers. Now, the truth be told, there is no reason why a game on like the PlayStation 5 generation and such can't recapture that kind of animation. But a rebuttal I'm going to make to that is I'm going to say this. I think Sonic Prime is clearly going for very Western animation sensibilities with a lot of squash and stretch. When I look at Frontiers, the animations are stiffer, but there's a lot of like pose-to-pose stuff, a lot of very anime-esque fight movements and stuff. So I think what this really is like with Prime, we're seeing the very Western interpretation of Sonic in animation, like what we've seen from like Marza Animation Planet, like what we've seen from like some of the movie stuff. And then on the Japanese end of things, we're seeing more Japanese animation sensibilities, and I like that. I take that all and make a big old Sonic fruit salad, as Ryan Drummond once said.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like I would like to see more creative animation in the Sonic games because I do think it has been a little like even if we're talking like Japanese versus American animation, I do think that Sonic has not necessarily pushed itself in that regard. That said, where based on a lot of what I'm seeing for Frontiers, I don't think like there should be an expectation for the animation in that particular game and for what it's trying to accomplish to look the way Prime does.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
thing.
need to look exactly like Prime. I'd like it to stop looking like it's on a very sad budget, though.
The thing I'm also kind of noticing, and this is through like leaks and stuff, is that like Sonic's in-game animation is very pose to pose. It's got like his running animation and stuff, and that's all very kind of simple. But then like, it's just there are certain moves that he does where the animation starts randomly going really hard. And then like there's also like there's this, I don't know if you guys have seen him just break dancing with a Chaos Emerald at one point. It's like
Yeah, I saw that.
they have put something into the animation this time. I'm gonna give credit here. Like the animation is pretty expressive. But yeah, I think naturally that debate of like the Prime style of animation versus the game style of animation is going to come up. And I personally think there is a middle ground between the two that can be met. But at the same time, I do like that we've got two very different approaches to this. And I like the very expressive style that Prime has brought to the table. It feels like a natural evolution and a higher budget version of what Sonic Boom kind of brought to the table.
It looks like it's given me a lot of what the Sonic cutscenes have not for a very, very long time, and for that I'm incredibly, incredibly thankful. I'm more curious to see what's going to happen, just to almost kind of bring back to the voice cast and everything like that, how influential this is going to be, because I don't remember the Sonic X stuff initially starting off with the idea of, oh, we're going to shift them into the English voice cast for synergy, because that seems more like a synergetic move than anything else. So they might take influence from this show if it does well and roll it into the game itself, because they're certainly not above doing that in terms of movie inspiration either.
I kind of hope they don't, but like I would happily accept Devin Mack as the new voice of Sonic, from what I've heard. Like both in his IDW readings and like the trailers and such as well. Like if they said Devin Mack is the new Sonic, I'd be okay with that. But I just don't like the precedent of the existing actors being just shoved out of their roles and such.
Well, again, we don't know the future, and neither of these projects are out yet, the new game or the new show. So let's not get too worried. Just a thing to consider, I suppose.
Yeah,
I
no,
think it's
possible.
going to be interesting. It'd be cool to come back like a year later and be like, "Hey, is anybody still talking about this show?"
Yeah, 100%. You're right.
I
was really
think,
excited for a Jurassic Park show, and then it came out, and it was, that was a kid show featuring dinosaurs.
while this looks like it's going to be, in some ways, the Sonic show I wanted when I was a kid, like one that's fully in universe with the games, with no Thorndikes attached, like, at the same time, I think because of that, it's got a high chance of being the most mid Sonic show ever, simply because I look at the different Sonic shows, with the exception of Underground, I think each one of these has something special about it, you know? And it's partly because they're not restrained to what the games are doing. Like, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, I love the versions of Robotnik and everything they brought to the table. Sad AM, I like that they went for like a sort of a long form story, and they were able to do something very unique. And Sonic Boom was just so fresh and different to every kind of piece of Sonic media we'd had at that point, and it was very well done. It was very satirical, so it's like it almost feels like we've had so many very inventive takes on Sonic in animation. It's like Sonic Prime has quite a bit to prove as a show that is just the core Sonic universe. But I'm not gonna let that, taint my opinions. I'm expecting it to be pretty mid, and when I say mid, I don't mean like Twitter mid, where it basically just means bad. I mean actual mid, where yeah, it's pretty good. That's all.
Yeah,
I
I
got.
agree with you.
Like,
Yeah, and you said as much when we first saw the first bits of Prime, and I've been in complete agreement with you this entire time. I think it's gonna be fine. I don't think it's gonna blow anything. I don't know. I think Sonic fans will eat it apart just because it's what we do. But like outside of that, I think it's just gonna be there. It'll be fine. It'll do its thing and run for like 4 seasons. And by seasons, I mean Netflix splits up like 2 separate seasons.
I was
each
gonna,
time.
yeah, I was gonna ask, how long do we think this series is gonna go? Because I keep thinking of it as like the thing that's gonna be here for one season, and then we'll not see anymore.
I think we already have more than one season just because we have only 8
Okay.
episodes coming out.
They've
so
also
they're-
confirmed that one of the episodes is like a 40-minute special or something.
Yeah.
Robots
that-
from the Sky 2 confirmed.
That said, I mean, this is Netflix we're talking about, so don't get your hopes up too long.
Yeah, they'll probably just cancel it.
Yeah.
Animation.
What's that?
Yes, like today's climate is unkind to animation, and that's disgusting. That's a soapbox I'm going to stand on and just say that's fucking disgusting. But
Yeah, animation and voice actors. Have you guys heard about the shit going on with Crunchyroll?
No.
No, what's going on there?
So okay, so I feel like I need more details on this, but I think the guy that was playing Mob in Mob Psycho 100 was either joining or trying to start like a union thing with Crunchyroll. I think he was the English voice actor for Mob, and they're just like, okay, fire him, recast. They're just like, no, voice actors don't need to get paid, living wages for actually, coming in and making our job possible.
Yeah.
I fucking hate this industry. I hate it, man.
That sounds about right. Sounds about right. Very, very disposable. No matter how much you love these characters, fact of the matter is these companies be like, fuck it, we'll
Yeah.
cast somebody else, and then the entire fan base can debate which one they like better.
Hmm.
Either way, they'll watch.
I started college and I was just like, I was so happy and excited. I was just like, oh man, I'm going to be in animation. This is going to be the best. And then I started learning what the industry is actually like.
Yeah, industry is the quickest way to kill any kind of creative juice you have in your heart. It's I'm not speaking out of experience, but it's disheartening from anybody I've spoken to about it. It just sounds so fucking frustrating.
If anybody wants to know what it's like just like working in the animation field, highly recommend. There's an episode of Paranoia Agent. It's a very dark anime, but it's got an amazing episode just about like what animation is actually like. Paranoia Agent's good, but yeah, no, that episode in particular is just like, yeah.
Have you also heard about something that's going on at Warner Brothers Discovery? Is obviously they've been canceling a lot of projects left and right. But one of the recent things, and yeah, so there's, I think the show is called Deep Space or something. I can't remember what it's called. Mad Space. I don't quite remember. Final Space.
Final Space.
Final
yeah.
Space and Aquaman King of Atlantis. These were both streaming exclusives. They've pulled them from streaming, and as a tax write-off, they will not be re-released in any form. There is no legal way to watch those shows now. So
Yeah, because I
There's
think I
more
saw
than
somebody on
40
iTunes like just lost access to his purchased seasons of the series.
yep, because
Yeah,
they're treating it as a
it's,
tax write-off. So they're actively robbing their audience now.
Yeah, of stuff they already own. It's
Yeah.
like there's over 40 projects animation wise that they just chopped off the table. I immediately canceled my HBO Max
Yeah, I did too.
subscription a few weeks ago after that news started hitting. I hope they flounder. I hope they fail. I hope WB goes bankrupt at this point. I don't give a fuck about superheroes. I don't give a fuck about Discovery. I don't give a fuck about the reality TV shows. I want it all to burn at this point.
I
This
think
is ridiculous.
Warner Brothers
It's like-
Discovery. Sorry, Wayne. Do you want
You're
to go
good.
first?
I was just gonna say that hey, what's sad is that this isn't even anything new. Like this has been happening. I mean, Megas XLR, like
Yep.
that is fucking impossible to get a hold of now, and that show's so much fun. But yeah, didn't do well enough, so tax write-off. Now it's impossible to access.
I think right now Warner Brothers Discovery are just representing everything wrong with the entertainment industry, and yeah, I remember we were having a conversation in the car, like on my first night in the States, and like I was kind of keeping an open mind, but Nick, you were like, "No, fuck, David's a Slav," and I'm in full agreement now. Completely, just fuck that guy to death.
Yeah, unfortunate. I really wish I could have stayed more positive, but I not at the cost of all this creativity. Absolutely not. So yeah, that's the sad state of things. Sorry to get all bummer with you guys, but we were talking about a cartoon show, and I think it's important when we take this stuff in. I'm not going to ever blame anybody for, like, for instance, like enjoying Harry Potter, but I think it's also important to understand J.K. Rowling on some level. I think it's important to understand the industry on some level and what they're doing to the people that are making this content for you. So always keep that in mind. Voice actors, animators, all these are people putting this together to give us these things to debate over.
Yeah, like by all means enjoy the escapism, but you got to understand the reality of the situation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just make your voices heard. Like the more people that are out there talking about this, part of the reason they keep getting away with it is just, you know, it's so swept under the rug. It's
Not in WB's case, thankfully.
yeah, no, everyone knows what's going on. I was so pissed because I was gonna finally sit down and watch Infinity Train, and now I can't.
I literally was too. I just got done the regular show, and that was like next on my list.
Yeah,
And it just wasn't there.
Also,
I
I'm
do
just
think
saying,
it is
they're gonna be-
available.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I do think Infinity Train has been made available again on some digital platforms, so I'm gonna be checking for it there.
Yeah,
but
once they say it's a tax write-off, though, it won't be on any platform. So if they say it's a tax write-off, don't expect to see it again. And this is the thing, is they'll be the first people to piss and moan when people pirate their shit.
Yeah, and certified, like, I'm not saying judging Harry Potter fans, because I'm not doing that. My mom's a Harry Potter fan. I mean, she was a special ed teacher. She designed courses around it because it inspired kids. It got an entire generation reading. So, no, I'm not playing this high and mighty bullshit with a fan base. For fuck's sake.
But we do gotta get it off Twitter every once in a while.
Yeah. No, I just get so sick of that shit. Like, no, like, J.K. Rowling's a bad person, therefore you are, because you have a wizarding house. Fuck off.
Yeah, as I've said
Completely
before,
fuck yourself.
the entertainment industry is no different to the fast food industry. You're getting a product, you're not necessarily going to like the person that makes your burger. The person that's made your delicious quarter pounder with cheese from McDonald's could be a massive fucking raging racist, but you'll still eat the burger anyway because the burger tastes good.
Yeah,
I
and
genuinely
it's
believe,
like
the most richest people in the world. Like, you're not that rich for being a good person. Like, simple as that.
And I do like I also don't want to like completely discount that there is definitely some consumer responsibility to have. There is there is no ethical consumption under capitalism, which I do agree with to a degree. But it's just like you know, there are some places that I just don't go to because I'm just like, I don't like that they hate a certain particular group and they actively use these funds to you know, use against them. Or Harry Potter was yeah, Harry Potter was easy for me to drop, honestly, but that's because I was never much of a Potterhead to begin with. If that series meant more to me, I'd probably feel a little more conflicted. I'm just kind of like, I just don't like getting on other people's asses about this stuff. I don't know. Anyways, Puppet, sounded like you had another point that you wanted to make.
Oh, I think I made it. But like, yeah, the main thing is direct your views against the creator rather than the consumer, because what's a fucking consumer supposed to do about J.K. Rowling, you know? If you have a beef with J.K. Rowling, take it up with her, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I certainly have I don't like her. I think she's a
I seem to have come back on a very awkward bit of conversation.
I think she's fucking terrible.
Anyway, so Cirrus, ugh.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking liberals.
You know, did I hear right though that you have the ability to have trans characters in Hogwarts Legacy?
Is that right?
I don't know. I heard it off the
I
grapevine.
think
That'd be such a
so.
massive fuck you to J.K. Rowling.
It'd also be like the most intelligent business move WB could make.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so I just see an article in Den of Geek said why Hogwarts Legacy's transgender character options shouldn't be controversial.
Yeah, they shouldn't be.
There we go. Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
Again, like, this all started with one person. She's not a good person. But
I'm just like, I'm at this point, I'm just excited for the game to finally come out so that people stop coming into my store asking me about it.
all right. Let's get caught up on some super chats here. Pup, you want to get us back on with Mr. Krabs?
Okay, where
we
am
have
I
a moment.
at? Okay, Mr. Krabs with $4.99. Did anyone see some of the new panels for IDW Sonic issue 53? I won't say what happens, but let's just say I predicted something 2 months ago. I haven't seen anything. Have you guys?
I just read the issue this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got up and did this show. I've been very, very, very under the weather. I'm going to read it after the show. So unfortunately, Mr. Krabs, I don't. But I'll probably talk about it at some point.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Just got to give me a couple days usually whenever new issues drop for me to read them. It's not an instantaneous thing.
I had to run out for a quick errand, and I live very close to my little local comic book shop, so I just popped my head in and saw what they had available. And picked up issue 53 because what did that just come out today?
Yeah.
Oh well, good timing, I guess. All right, I liked it. It was good.
All right. Captain Cold Cuts with $10. Thank you. Last week, just before the stream died, you guys touched on how the Sonic movies seem to have caused Sega to take Sonic lore more seriously. Can you explain what you meant? Money.
So, like, yeah, I guess, a point that is, I guess, kind of evidence of that is the fact that, like, the Sonic movies obviously kind of gave Sonic more of an origin. They gave Sonic more of a sense of world building and geography to it. Like, in the games, for the longest time, we didn't even know what planet any of this shit was taking place on.
We had the two worlds theory for so long.
Yeah, and it was only a fucking theory as well. Whereas the Sonic movie presented pretty much everything from the get-go. And then after that, we see things like Tails Tube recontextualizing the Sonic universe. And I think my question there was, is it really a coincidence? Or is Sega looking at these movies and saying, okay, they've clearly got their own shit worked out, and the audience are liking that, so let's take some time to sort of soft reboot Sonic in a way that tells people this is what this world is. It's all one world, it's all got, you know, different kinds of people on it. Knuckles is the guardian of the Master Emerald. Even down to, like, when they did the episode on Orbot, where they interviewed him, they kind of gave the origins of Dr. Eggman's name. They talked about Shadow's origins, also not to mention omitting Black Doom. So, like, it is quite clear that Sega are using Tails Tube as a vehicle to sort of restructure Sonic's world, and I think it's a great thing, and I do think that the movies might have influenced that decision.
I don't think that's what happened. Not to talk too much, but I think this has been like a long time coming sort of a thing. I think we're finally starting to see the influence of Aaron Weber moving over to Japan more than anything else. I think this is one of those little things. We've been slowly inching towards this since Forces initially came out. We've been kind of going more and more and more towards the more successful aspects of it. I do think the movies have influence on the games. I personally feel, again, I don't know, Pup, like your theory is just as valid as mine, but I feel it's more surface level than that, just like the movie eyes and stupid shit like that. But you could be right. It could just be Jeff Fowler and those guys like really kind of helping Sega get their ass in gear too, because we don't know how closely they all work together. Tyson Hess works with Sega and with Paramount.
I also think that whatever decisions Aaron Weber might be making over at Sega of Japan, there is a chance that he's backed up by these movies. Not that like the movies are deliberately doing that, but it's like basically he's got all these ideas, and Sega of Japan are more inclined to pull the trigger when they see the uber successful movie doing it.
Yeah, and you know, actually, now that you mention it, he is a producer on the movies, isn't he?
I think so, but in like the same way that like Tim Burton was a producer on Batman Forever.
Maybe we don't know. I'm sure we could bother people. We could, but
you do what you do best, you meddling fucking man.
No, it's all speculation, but I mean, regardless, it does seem like there is some, like you were talking about earlier, some synergy in the franchise finally, which is what they've been needing. So
It's weird to think that movies is might be one of the best things that's happened to this series.
Yeah,
I don't think
it makes
it's-
me happy to see.
I don't think
Usually
it's
is.
that weird, personally, because so if you think about the history of video game movies stretching back to like Uwe Boll and all of the terrible stuff that he shat out,
I love that guy. Ironically, but I love that. I just love his like YouTube channel and stuff. I remember him like having a rant about like Wonder Woman, being like, "Oh, we got the sexy bitch in a bikini." Ooh, that was so fucking funny.
but like when I think about the way that video game movies were before, like we would sometimes get a Mortal Kombat that would become a cult classic, but it typically just hot garbo. It was kind of an eventuality that we would get something that was not that, and whatever video game movie that was that everybody just latched onto is like, no, this is the good one. It was going to have a huge amount of significance to what, not only whatever franchise it was associated with, but to the industry as a whole. It just happened. Like in my mind, it just happens to be Sonic.
True,
Like-
but at the same time, I was kind of thinking, like, a lot of the problem with older video game movies was that they didn't really respect the source material very much. But
Well,
then,
right, and that's because Uwe Boll specifically did it that
right,
way.
yes, but what I'm saying is then we move on to movies like Ratchet and Clank, where it's
Mm-hmm.
fully within the game's universe and it's fully kind of firmly
I-
embedded with it, but it still didn't work, you know? Like,
I was gonna say I don't know if I would use that as a positive example.
yeah, I'm not. I'm not.
Well, no, he
I'm
wasn't using it as a
saying
positive
I'm using
example.
It as like the Uno. It's the complete reverse example, but it's still
Yeah.
not good. So it's like
It
well,
didn't. Yeah, it was like it had the lore to a degree. It had the setting. It just didn't have the same heart.
yeah, it
I don't
didn't
know.
say fuck you to its source material. It took it all on board, but it still didn't really work as a good film, basically.
It didn't get it.
And then
It just didn't get it.
so the fact that Sonic managed to land where he did, and even then it was in a very out there kind of way. Well, I say out there, what I mean is like they didn't like straight up adapt the games or anything. It was still quite a reinterpretation done to be fit for consumption for the general public. I mean, Sonic
It's a very
1,
safe movie.
Yeah,
It's a very, very
it's-
safe movie.
Yeah.
it is the movie equivalent of a fucking safety net, that first movie. But like
Yeah.
the fact that it worked as well as it did, like I still think there's quite a bit of surprise in there. The fact that the buddy cop road trip movie for the fucking Sonic Hedgehog live action was the first piece of the puzzle to really start reversing the damage done to Sonic's reputation from Sonic 06. Now I know a lot of people are going to say is yeah, there have been plenty of good Sonic games since Sonic 06. Sonic 06 was a long time ago. But watch the
Sonic
Geek
O-
Critiques video on Sonic 06 because the general public's perception of Sonic, it hasn't been reversed since 06.
Yeah, and a big part of that was like I think it was just the way it hit the internet when it did. Because that I feel was kind of around a time when a lot of influencers were starting to gain traction, where a lot of the people making videos about video games and everything, I think of that, as kind of the heyday of like Screw Attack and groups like that. That's just kind of how the memes spread. Not necessarily in, funny haha picture memes, but like the actual like understanding of what this was
Right. Yeah.
started to yeah.
I understand
It-
that,
it-
like, we've had Mania, we've had Generations and stuff like that, and, like, the Sonic fans will know that, they'll tell you that. But as far as the general public is concerned, I think the Sonic movies, Sonic 1 and 2, are the closest we've ever come to being able to reverse the Sonic stigma. And I think that is
Yeah.
a big surprise,
For general public, yes.
and it's good
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, I mean that's something. Those are really good points, guys, because that's something nobody really talks about. And Wayne, you nailed it on the head. That it's not just that Sonic 06 is a bad Sonic game. It came out at a very pivotal time. It came out at the absolute single worst time it could have come out, where influencers are starting to rise up. Angry video game nerd is a thing, right? Like that's when he starts to rise, and that's when all of that wave of raging on games being a funny haha thing. That's when that kicked off. But not only that, in the game industry, we had not seen such a huge property fail so spectacularly like that before. And Sonic was on the way out. Like Shadow alone, like they still had not recovered from the mockery of just the idea of the Shadow game. And nowadays, I think it's hilarious because you look at what 06 was doing, and the game industry is starting to make that more and more standard, right? Like busted, broken, shitty games. And more critics are just fine with it. But Sonic is still hit in that time, that exact horrible time that he did. That's going to shake off. It's going to take, a millennia to shake off. And we almost had it happen again with the movies. It is amazing that bad or that ugly Sonic isn't the major talking point of those movies anymore, because that's all anybody was talking about. Like, it is incredible. It can't be understated how much Tyson has saved this fucking franchise.
I think also, like, there's a lot of people saying this could be the Sonic Renaissance. Like, between, like, the movies and Frontiers and Prime, we could be looking at the Sonic Renaissance. And it's easy to kind of look at that and be like, oh, it's very hopeful and stuff. But the truth is, I think they're right. Like, if the movies continue on the path that they're going and continue to win over the hearts of the audiences, and those new audiences move over to the games, and like Sonic Frontiers is a much more anticipated game with the general public than things like Sonic Forces ever were. If Sega pulls off Sonic Frontiers and Sonic Prime turns out to be good as well, we are looking at the first shot at finally reversing that stigma. And that's crazy how long it has taken, because Sonic 06 was so long ago. But the fact is, those movies have rocketed Sonic back into the public eye in a big way if Sega can keep that goodwill going forward. And that's why people react so strongly to Sonic Frontiers. That is why, people have been following this game so religiously, is because this is Sega's chance to finally be done with it. To finally get to a point where in 10 years' time we can have Sonic reviews that don't open up with, "Ooh, Sonic has had quite a tricky tenure in his time since the jump to 3D." This is the chance.
Sonic 06, am I right?
Well, I mean, the Boost games have always done okay. I mean, Unleashed got horrible reviews from IGN, but, who cares? They've always done okay. But yeah, you're not wrong. The stigma has been there. I don't think it's going to shake off with this next game, but hopefully this just is a banger of a game. And they're like, let's keep Ian Flynn on. Let's keep expanding this world. Let's keep expanding these characters on that end. Let's keep improving quality-wise with the gameplay. Let's give them more of a budget, more time to breathe, all that shit. And if they have a good foundation here, I would love to see them expand out, because I miss the days where I was excited for the idea of a spin-off game starring a different Sonic character, not having to worry about the next mainline game. Just, God, what a time to be alive.
You just want a good game, man.
I just want to have a good game. I want to have a good time,
Let's sorry, go ahead, Wayne.
No, I was just, God, fuck. You gotta reference him every week.
Yeah. Black Yakuza 94 gave us $5. You guys think Harry Potter is bad? Y'all ever heard of a series called Rurouni Kenshin?
Oh no,
we're not talking about it. Stop not talking about it.
Not.
Yeah, sir, take the next one.
Xanderoni, thank you for the $5. Glad I could catch the show live today. Do you guys think the IDW characters have a chance at being in Sonic Prime, even as just a cameo? Yes.
We went over it earlier, but yeah.
Yeah, I think with everything we've said earlier, I think we 100% think there is a chance.
All right.
Watney!
Let me find where I was at.
I'll put a burger.
Mike,
Okay.
Mike 1911, $1.99. You didn't really answer my question.
Unless we missed something, we definitely did.
We definitely
because,
did.
Like, your question was,
what
do you
would
think...
it take for the inept developers of Sonic of Japan to
the
bring back
answer
Freedom
is
Fighters?
the answer
is they won't.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen ever. Sega Japan won't.
All
Your
right,
only chance at getting the Freedom Fighters back would be through Sega of America. And with Sega of America, they would need to have the key control with Sonic, which they do not have. You would need Sega of Japan to relinquish control over to Sega of America to even get the slightest chance, and that's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, fine. If we want to play this scenario, what would it take to make the Freedom Fighters come back? Again, they were never really there to begin with outside of Spinball, and even then, that's SOA. Your best bet is hoping the old school people over there die. That's what it's going to take.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to
and then it would have to be. This is gonna sound harsh, but they would have to be relevant again for them to show up in a game.
Not even that. You don't even need to do that. I mean, like, if you look at comic books, they will wait decades and bring back random ass characters just because the author wanted to, and they still have the rights to do it. The problem is, and bluntly, I doubt Sega of America wants to do it either, because after Rally for Sally, they bombarded the living fuck out of the employees there, and I sincerely doubt any of them are really happy with the Freedom Fighter, or specifically Sally fan base, after that obsessive stupidity.
They've also got a
So
cast
don't
down that they
expect
want to
that to
follow as well. Like, they've got a model down. Like, after all these years, they're finally getting Sonic's canon together. I don't think they're going to mess with it too much now.
Yeah, there's been a lot of push for like the and some good things have been done in the States, especially online and everything, when a bunch of people just rally together for a point on something that they want. It happened with the Sonic redesign. That didn't really go over well with Japanese developers. They hate that shit. They don't see you as having a point. They just find you annoying.
Well, Sega of Japan, they probably have disconnected themselves from this shit, because they've always been stand firm in that. Like, we don't want them. We've never wanted them. We're not gonna make the trouble to figure out how to get them if their rights are all over the place.
Your best
And
bet...
then when you bother the social media team, they're not going to be on your team about it. It's just the people who've been supporting these causes have been actively shooting themselves in the foot.
Your best bet is you get a flight out to Japan, you go meet with the CEO of Sega Japan, you look him straight in the eye and you say, "You want to fuck my wife?"
Your best bet, Sega Japan is not overhated. I promise you they are not. They're not, Kian, at all. Your best bet is to keep them in the conversation, be polite about it, learn some fucking goddamn manners, and just keep that conversation going, and just believe in the people that are, here, like Ian Flynn and those guys are like, yeah, we get it. I'm not going to, bend over backwards for every little fucking thing. Like, we got to tell a story. We got to do what's best for Sonic, and the character's already here. But your best bet, if you want, like, the most honest answer, Mike, patience and politeness.
The absolute best thing is to just give up, though. Like, this is not going to happen.
I hate it, but
it's another one of those instances.
You're always gonna have people like me. I'm always gonna talk about them and talk about their relevance and talk about why they matter. That is the whole point of that spin-off show there. I'm also gonna be a realist.
I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist.
Yeah.
The thing is, also, like, I'm gonna be real. I didn't grow up with Sad AM, and I didn't grow up with Archie, and I couldn't give a fuck about the Freedom Fighters. But since, like, editing some of Nick's videos and also just, like, watching some of his own things as well, I want them to come back because I want to see the reaction. I want to be there.
You're just here for the fallout.
I want to be there for people jumping out of their seats and screaming at the trailer, seeing them come back. Like, I remember when we were all down in that Nintendo Direct, and I remember that moment when we saw this little flower on screen, and these little shoes popped down on the ground, and it was Klonoa. And Nick fucking jumped out of his seat, everyone was fucking jumping all over the place, and I wasn't a huge Klonoa fan at the time. I wish I was at that time. I want to see that happen, and I think my chance of getting to see that happen again, short of a Klonoa 3, is seeing the Freedom Fighters turn up in a Sonic game. Or a movie.
Yeah, dude. Like, with the Klonoa reveal, my roommates heard me from a different floor. Like,
that's why I want them to announce a
Metroid
3.
Dread trailer, I lost my shit.
I want them to announce a 3 so I can be there with it. I want to be jumping out of my seat as well. I fucking love Klonoa now. He's my
Fuck
boy.
yeah, dude.
He's my boy. I've got a plush of him now. It's a little AliExpress bootleg plush, but I've got one.
It's amazing how well they've emulated the original plush, though.
Yeah, he's
It is
a
really
bit
weird.
flat. He's like he's lovely.
Yeah, but the original plush looks like shit. Is the thing.
Yeah, I bent his collar a little bit just so it doesn't fucking take up as much of him as it does. He looks better now.
Yeah. I almost got one too, just because it looks so much like the original, and I was like, I don't actually like how. I just didn't.
That's why you like it.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. As far as I'm concerned, I've got a little Klonoa that I can hug now. So like, there we go.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel you, Mike. He wants to just come back to comics. Yeah, I don't think any of the Freedom Fighter fan base really wants too much, man. Like, we just want to be acknowledged. Like, we want them to have a little place in the world somewhere. And Sonic runs by, goes, "Hey guys," and they go, "Hey, what's up?"
Meanwhile,
we
Adventures
get
of Sonic the Hedgehog fans are just out in the ice freezing.
But even they got safely like.
We got OKKO.
I mean,
Like, the OKKO
Yeah.
crossover was very much an episode of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. My
You
God,
could-
also,
I mean,
that
Starving as
crossover,
usual, I see.
that crossover is
Yeah.
actually so fucking good. Like,
It
really
is.
is.
It was
it's
really
so
cute.
charming. It's so fucking charming.
they
yeah.
really did their research on that. Like, the OVA references, the chaotic special stage.
I mean, yeah, they did. I mean, it wasn't just game reference. You could tell these were animators who grew up loving animation.
100%. And hearing Sonic say things like "got a speed, kid" and stuff, like hearing Roger Craig Smith saying like Jaleel White Sonic lines was kind of crazy.
It still is, though. They're slowly integrating that back in there. So the more we talk about it, the more I'm kind of feeling you, Mike. Maybe, I don't know, the optimism's not completely dead.
I just want Sonic to
Good.
describe something as Mondo cool in Sonic Frontiers, and then we game.
Oh god damn it.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
If Antoine
Yeah,
ever comes
I mean,
back,
that's
I'm
the-
gonna turn him into a hat.
That's my entire point of whenever I talk about Sally the Freedom Fighters or anything is stop being afraid of Western media. Stop being afraid of the Western influence there. You can roll them in. It's not gonna hurt anybody. It's all worth paying attention to.
You know, if you were
So-
way past cool, would that not just like be not cool? Would like the literal definition of way past cool just be try hard?
I mean, that's kind of like what happens.
I mean,
in,
that's the Sonic, yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like what happens in like some college rooms where a professor will just go, "You're not even wrong," and then just like if the student's dumb enough, they'll just go, "Yay, I was that right." It's like, no, that's not what I mean by that. You're so far off base. You can't be right or wrong. Nothing you say matters in the context of this class.
To
That's what it
quote-
feels like to me.
To quote the mighty game apologist, I definitely don't disagree.
It is amazing how many times that specific line happens on this show.
I don't know why I just don't say I agree.
Yeah, or just say, your point's not complete shit.
I have to put 3 dus in the middle there to complete just say yeah. I concur.
No, it's alliteration, Nick. You have to always alliterate.
Racism is bad. Well, I definitely don't disagree.
You forgot the butt. There has to be a butt at the end.
I gotta watch how bad I am with words. Anyway, let's finish up these super chats. Let's carry on with our day.
Oh, right, I'm up.
You okay?
Yeah, Wayne, what's
Did we
up with you,
break
man?
Wayne?
I'm good. Where are we at?
Okay,
Oz
so
Jam
I've got
H.
Oz Jam H with $5 saying, "Screw the rich, support creative creators, stay the shit off of Twitter. It'll do wonders for you, and not have a migraine. Eat your gamer juice too." Yeah, Twitter. I enjoy Twitter, but I go in there with like a metaphorical, massive war gun and armor and shit, and an eye patch. Like
You go in
Yeah.
as punished pup.
it's my little Fury Road, you know. Like I'm in
I'm
there for the
taking
blood
more-
sport.
I'm taking more of my other YouTube friends' approach of it now, where I just kind of drop in a stupid joke or a promotion of a video and then kind of leave. I've not been remotely sociable since the operation. I've been wanting to just sleep and try to deal with COVID best I can. And since then, I've been like, I feel a lot better without checking social media all the fucking time.
Little
Probably check my
hermit
Discord
boy.
server a little bit better, but outside of that, yeah, I'm not going to engage as much as I used to. It's just not healthy. Ugh. But yeah,
I check Twitter because I have low self-esteem and I need the validation.
I feel like Twitter makes it worse. Actually, I can
It actually
prove,
does. Yeah.
I can prove to you Twitter makes it worse.
all right, but
I check Twitter because I have a bad habit of getting into fights with people, and the problem is that I like it.
Oh.
all right,
So Nick, I think you have the next one.
Yep.
okay. Let's see. Mr. Krabs with $4.99. WB Discovery cutting animation. WB Discovery, these animations ain't Taco Bell meme sound. Get Duncan to the trash. Sorry, man. I'm feeling a little under the weather now.
Do you want to take a break, Nick? Do you want to just slink out?
Yeah, I'm gonna slink out, guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Mr.
All right,
Krabs,
buddy.
I cannot begin to read your fucking messages like this.
Get
I'm
well
gonna sit
soon,
here.
my
I'm gonna
child.
listen to you guys. I'm gonna sit here. I'll just listen to you guys. I'll
Okay.
recover.
All right.
I guess that puts it up on me.
Yes, go on, Cirrus.
So I've got Black Yakuza 94.
Yeah. I think that might be the most comprehensible version of that message for Mr. Krabs will get.
I just need
Black
to
Yakuza
figure out
94.
what the...
Thank you.
Okay, go on. Yeah, you go.
Thank you for the $10. I figured it out. The redemption arc Sonic undergoes in Prime is God. No, I need this in Jordan Peterson's voice. I figured it out. The redemption arc Sonic undergoes in Prime is meta-contextual. It symbolizes Sonic finally rising past the stigma against him. The Prime creators are playing 4D chess. You see.
Was that fucking Bane or something?
I tried to do a Jordan Peterson and it came out as a Bane.
You
And-
really adopted the Jordan Peterson. I was born in it.
The Chaos Emeralds are yours!
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who
We'll see.
cancels who.
I'm gonna blow up Gotham Stadium.
As soon as I read metacontextual, my brain's just like, oh, let's go into Kermit the Frog mode, but didn't quite do that.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
At least that's closer. I don't know why I went to Bane.
Okay, Wallace, you're up with Oz Jam Age.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Ostrom H, $5. Nick, after watching all your videos relating to Foo Fighters and and as someone who not a big fan of them, I must say, Roasted Squirrel sounds nice.
What do you mean you're not a big fan of the Foo Fighters? They're a great band.
They go fight foos.
What?
I mean, you're not the first person to tell me that they want to eat Sally. So
Haha.
you do you, champ.
Jesse.
Oh, implications.
Juicy.
God.
Okay, where was I at? Okay, right. Slickscope sends $9.99. Do you guys think that IDW will pull an Archie Worlds Unite arc and bring back the Freedom Fighters that way? Sorry, hiccup again. Oh, jeez. Oh. Not on par with the world-breaking Sonic Unleashed arc, but in their own specialized way. I mean, it's more chance of happening in IDW than it is in Sega. Like, that's one thing I'll say. I mean, it would be a way. It would be a means. If they could just do, like, a comic arc and do, like, a little Dimensions meet kind of thing, that'd be nice. But I don't think it'll happen.
I will say this: if they do ever show the Freedom Fighters again, that's showing Sega is listening to all the fan bases. That's showing Sega is like, no, we're getting everything in house, and we're taking this seriously, all of it. And I think, regardless of where you stand on those characters, I think that is something you would have to pay attention to. And I think I don't know how you'd look at that without some level of respect for Sega, getting that shit sorted out. If they went to that trouble, it's well within their wheelhouse to do it.
Are you doing all right, man?
Yeah, I just got a little sick to the stomach, got some cold sweats, but yeah, I'm good.
Okie dokie then. Cirrus.
Don't die. So the next one we have here is XL Hedge. Thank you very much for the $5. OKKO had the ultimate missed opportunity of having Jim Cummings not use his SatAM Robotnik voice and had him do Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog lines.
I mean, wait, is Jim Cummings in OKKO then?
Yeah, so, I recognized him almost immediately. Wait, am I mixing it?
I don't know how to recognize him. His voice is very fucking flexible.
It is, the thing is that I don't actually know if I'm thinking of the right clip or not,
I mean, what was
because
the
I
name of
remember
the
watching
villain in it?
I remember watching the OKKO short, like, the other night, and I could have sworn that the little villain in there was Jim Cummings, because it sounded like his performance as Darkwing Duck.
Right, okay. Like, yeah,
But
that's
I don't remember if that was the
We're gonna
clip where I
figure
heard
this out.
that voice or not.
We're gonna figure this out. Jim Cummings.
What was the
is
name of the
in
villain again? Was it Garland or something?
He plays a guy called Boxman.
Boxman, okay.
He's an American voice actor who voices Lord Boxman, Boxman Jr., Can Wizard, and Mecha Maw.
Let me see, is Lord Boxman the guy we're thinking of? Yeah, and also my fucking alarm going off again. Fucking, I get it, check the heat sink. How do I turn this fucking shit off? Okay,
Yes, it is.
so it
Yes,
is.
yes. Okay, that is Jim Cummings. That is definitely Jim Cummings as that guy from the OKKO short, because that is just his Darkwing Duck voice.
They did such a wonderful job, man. Like, just they crammed so much love into that. Ugh, that's cool shit.
Nick sounds like he's dying.
Yeah, Nick, go rest, man. You said you were gonna go rest.
I think-
I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
fine.
Alright.
I think it's more that we are nearing the end of our conversation points as well in terms of Sonic Prime stuff.
Well, who's up with Oz Jam Age?
I just did one.
Oh, you just did one?
It's you, Pop.
Okay. Bane voice.
Yeah, Slick Scope.
Fuck the... Huh?
Yeah, Slick Scope.
I've just done... I did Slick Scope, and we had
Did
XO Hedge as well, so we're on Oz Jam Age. Okay.
I should not on par with the breaking.
Fuck the pain away. The bat's back is in ruin.
God damn it.
Cirrus?
Mr. Krabs, Bob Shapiro. Let's just say, hypothetically, that.
No, have Wayne do it.
Yes, go on. Have
of a
Wayne
bitch.
do it.
You penis of a man! I swear
Wait,
to God.
I have the perfect way to do this, Wayne. You read Mr. Krabs's, but then Ozjam H's is the conclusion.
My God.
Let's just say... Sorry,
Let's
go on.
just say,
I didn't think you were gonna do it.
hypothetically, that if I actually knew how to debate, then maybe my career wouldn't be such a much fucking joke.
You gotta do it like... Let's just say, hypothetically, that I'm not screwing the squirrel. Gamer juice, though.
Cambridge juice, though.
Which is Oz Jam H's $2 super chat, which I just hijacked. I'm really sorry.
All those people pretending that they're better than rodent sex.
Hey, listen.
Well, the only reason.
No, you gotta exercise a little caution because I do remember the time I ate out a certain bat and caused COVID-19.
Oh my god. No, all right.
God.
We're there.
And
We did
that's the Rubicon that we've just passed.
We just crossed it.
So, oh dear, look who's come to dinner.
Oh no. He's come to eat the bat.
He's come for your Kentucky Fried Bat, Wayne.
He's coming for your cum. No, Nick, no. Why did I do it?
Mr. Krabs sends $1.99. Fuck the pain away, Squidward. Fucking hell, Mr. Krabs. Fucking hell. Shall we do the super chat cutoff?
Yeah.
Super chat cutoff.
Yeah.
Cutoff time. No more super chats while the skeleton is on screen. The skeleton is on screen.
We really should replace that with the shadow skeleton.
No, fuck off. Stop trying to replace the skeleton.
I mean,
No, just the skeletons that are in Shadow the Hedgehog
Skeleton.
in the Cryptic
No,
Castle.
no. This is our skeleton, okay? This guy
God
right
damn
here.
it.
This guy in specific. You cannot... The joke will not be the same without this particular video.
I have a gold skeleton.
Yeah,
we
bring
could
that
just-
to Fan Jam.
I'm not doing that.
You go, come on. I'll literally... You can go in my case.
You can pay for the luggage.
I
'cause
will
I'm
pay,
not-
I will literally pay if we can have the skeleton with us.
Cool. Your ticket's about to literally cost 3 times as much now.
Why would it cost 3 times as much just for a bag?
Because we got it super fucking cheap, man, and it's gonna cost us hundreds of dollars to take a bunch of shit with us. It's not fun
Alternatively,
now.
we could just get an extra seat and then put the skeleton in that. That would be so funny. Imagine getting on a plane and being sat next to a skeleton.
It would literally be cheaper to just give Cirrus the $40 to
And
go to Target and buy one that we use.
They
over
do
there.
not cost $40. They cost $100.
cost.
They cost
my
40
gold
yet.
one. Yeah, my gold one's 40.
Oh, really?
Like Target, and it's even cheaper if you just get it at Walmart.
Yeah, but is he not human-sized?
Yeah, he's human sized.
Is he taller than me?
We're gonna find out.
He probably is. Actually, someone sent
Stand
a
him in
link-
front of us.
Someone sent me a link on Twitter in the DMs to a 12-foot... No, not 12-foot, an 8-foot skeleton. But then I sent them back a link to a Best Buy skeleton that's 12 feet tall. He's like
Yeah,
$300.
It was like a meme for a little bit a few years ago. Just the infamous 12-foot tall Home Depot skeleton that sold out instantaneously. I really wanted one. Ace has been very thankful.
Well, they're back.
Well, they were sold out. The link you gave us was sold out, dude.
They're
Uh-oh.
back. A skeleton story.
Oh no, Cirrus! No! Cirrus! He's got you! Shit! Well, we better start making our way out then, hadn't we?
Let's wrap this up. Wayne, you got something special in the works for we both do, but yours is much more substantial.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done. It's finally done. 7 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. I'm premiering my Digimon World video. It clocks in at 1 hour and 13 minutes long. It's giant, it's beefy. I've been working on it since last year. It's done!
I'm proud of you, buddy.
It's about fucking time. God, I've been waiting for ages. Why are you so fucking slow, Wayne? Huh? Why are you so slow? You bitch. Huh? Bitch.
As for me, I'm just waiting on my.
Oh no.
Well, here's a dirty truth about videos, guys. Sponsors have to approve videos sometimes, and I'm just waiting to hear back from mine. And as soon as it is, you're gonna get a quick 10-minute video just all about Sonic's Planet. It's mostly stuff you know already. It's another what's in a name, just kind of cataloging how weird and stupid the whole thing is. And that's like, I think it's like, what? Do you remember how long it was? Probably like 10 minutes, something like that.
12 minutes approx.
Yeah, something like that. So that'll jump up online today as soon as I get the approval, but I'm just ready to hit the go button. But I would much prefer, if you have to watch only one video today, join us for the premiere of Wayne's video later today. That's not too long from now.
Hell yeah.
Oh, what do you up to?
Okay, so, on my channel, I've just done a video on Wolverine's return in Deadpool 3, but also I'm changing things up a bit now. I've got 2 new separate channels. Channel Pop Blue, which is for video essays on movies and such. Over on there, we've got Architects of the MCU, and Batman v Superman is based on a true story. Those are probably 2 of my favorite things I've done. And then over on Channel Pop Green, we're doing video gaming retrospectives. And up there, we've got Klonoa 1 and 2 retrospectives, as well as the Sonic Triple Trouble retrospective, which I know that the audience here are probably going to be most interested in. So I'd really appreciate if you guys could help me, and I'm referring to you guys in the audience, would help me to get Channel Pop Green a little more off the ground. That would be fantastic. Blue as well if you're interested. But yeah, I blew my load.
Amazing.
And now I'm dead. So, yeah.
Cirrus couldn't tell us anything about what he was doing before he chopped his head off.
Yeah, he can still talk.
Somehow, magically.
I know, as long as there's a hole for your voice to come out of.
Well, it's because he usually talks out his ass anyway, so.
Oh my
That's
god.
fair. 100% fair.
I love and respect your opinion. That's up the joke.
Oh no, it's
That's the
fine.
way today.
I'm perfectly fine with the sass. I welcome it. It's better than timid Wayne. But
It makes goo Cirrus.
God damn it. As for things I'm working on, so for those who already have access to my Patreon, y'all know that the voice work for the Shadow the Hedgehog dying video has been done for ages. I'm just waiting on the art to come in for that, and then I'm going to be sending some United States dollarinos over Pup's way, probably.
No, you're not, because I'm not allowed to work.
You're not allowed to work here. You're right.
Yeah. So it's free.
I will be holding on to United States dollarinos for the purpose of sending over at some point for other unrelated reasons that will have Channel Pup's name on them. Eventually, maybe.
You just won't. You just won't. We'll talk about it in
I
private.
just won't.
We'll talk about it in
I
private.
I
For
just
real.
won't.
For real. Yeah, just no. Just like on the record, anybody looking at this, he is not getting paid for anything in the States.
Fair enough.
All right.
But that's going to be its own thing when the artwork for that is all done. Past that, I have a collaboration that's going to be happening at 8:00 tonight with another YouTuber, Viced Rhino. But that's really the only stuff I've got going on. I am stretched very thin right now, so I don't have the ability to jump into a bunch of other projects. But, yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah for Cirrus being stretched thin.
Hell yeah, Batman.
Hell yeah.
He says that a lot. He says that a whole bunch.
Who says that?
Who?
Hell yeah. He does. You say hell yeah so many times.
Me?
Oh.
Oh, me.
Yeah. Did I ever show you guys the Hell Yeah Batman video?
No.
No?
I'll show you guys.
Yeah, no,
Here, one
definitely
second.
do that, man. Like,
I gotta show you guys the Hell Yeah Batman video.
no, hell yeah, send it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman.
Eh.